Well, let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups delivered by Taco Bell for the visiting Los Angeles Clippers. Patrick Beverley, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, new acquisitions Nicolas Batum and Serge Ibaka round out their starting lineup for the Nuggets. Murray, Harris, Michael Porter Jr. slotting up into the starting lineup this season. Will Barton coming off the bench. Paul Millsap and Nikola Jokic rounding out their starting five. Denver started off their season with a loss in overtime against Sacramento, a dramatic tip-in from Buddy Hield to win it for the Kings. Clippers began with a win against the Lakers, and the final game of Christmas 2020 is underway. Here is Porter Jr. trying to lob it into Jokic, and that's out of bounds as Denver turns it over on the opening possession.
And you talked about that first game against Sacramento. For Jamal Murray, he really struggled, really never got that rhythm, never got going. So let's see how he answers that call. Paul Millsap said that Jamal is so competitive, he might come out and try and score 50 tonight just from getting off to that slow start in game one.
George loses it out of bounds, going to stay right here with the Clippers. Paul George, meanwhile, coming off an excellent performance against the Lakers in the Clippers opener, 33 points on 13 of 18 shooting. First player to score 30-plus while shooting 70% in a season opener since Blake Griffin back in 2015. As Leonard bricks the three, another chance here for LA. Beverley will try, he can't hit, and the rebound secured by Murray. Murray pirouettes into a foul and an early one against Patrick Beverley.
And I like this aggressiveness by Jamal Murray. You know, Patrick Beverley is one of the best perimeter defenders in this league. So being aggressive on him early, maybe getting him into foul trouble. He's already got one now. So now you know that, look, they already put Paul George on him. You know, and you want to really be aggressive because that's going to really set the tone for the rest of this game and for your team.
Harris can't finish. The rebound from Batum. Ibaka, new acquisition, signing a 2-year, $19 million deal to come to the Clippers. Less money than many thought he would command, but wanted the winning situation here in LA as Murray comes up with a steal and then coughs it up to two-time Defensive Player of the Year, Kawhi Leonard. Here is George through the lane. He lost it. It's a hot potato right now. And finally, Batum hits the three and puts points on the board.
Nicolas Batum is such a big pickup for the Los Angeles Clippers. The versatility, the playmaking, the defensive length that he has. And okay, Jokic with the dunk. Wow, that's 3 dunks already for him in 2 games. That might be some sort of career high for him.
It's the new kicks, you know, start of the season.
The new uniforms.
Everything just giving you energy. Your suit jacket, I mean, we're all feeling a vibe.
Honestly, it's Christmas, man. You got to bring it.
And you did. And that's going to be a shot clock violation as the Clippers turn it over.
And you see this, just playing at the elbow, so good. You can't get out of position with him. Now, he normally doesn't finish with a dunk, but you got to keep him squared in front of you. He's so shifty and so crafty.
Had a triple-double in the Nuggets opener. Nice delivery inside. It ends up with Harris, and Harris has it stolen by Beverley. An opportunity in transition for the Clippers. George, corner three is good. Paul George, who was 5 of 8 from 3 on opening night, connects there.
You know, another thing that's going to be great to watch this Denver Nugget young team, as you see a foul on Serge Ibaka. And look at this, great job, great spacing. Paul George getting to that corner, Kawhi Leonard just probing, and those are just going to be easy layups for Paul George. And this entire offense, that's what Tyronn Lue wants to see. He wants to see them get out. He wants to see some easy shots and transition opportunities for this Clippers team.
Lue has had many conversations with George, Kawhi, Patrick Beverley, Lou Williams, the core of this team, as Michael Porter Jr. buries the three. Lou talking with them about how he wants to best use them, but also making it a collaborative effort. A back and forth combo as Porter delivers the hammer off the steal. And a timeout taken by Ty Lue. 5 straight for Michael.
On and off the court, and he told me a story that he says shows the way Kawhi's work ethic mirrors those two. He said that during a preseason game against Utah, Kawhi was slated to sit in the second half of that game, but when he found out he was the only guy scheduled to do so, he said, you know what, never mind, I need to be out there. And remember, guys, this is a big year for Kawhi and the Clippers. At the end of this season, Kawhi has a player option. He said if he's healthy, the best decision is likely to decline that option, but hang on, Clippers fans. He said declining isn't an indication of whether he'll stay or go, and opting out means he can sign a 4-year max contract. And for now, he says he's focused on this season, and right now that means focused on the Nuggets, Ryan.
Yeah, Malika, outstanding story and information, and it's true, and it's important to remember that him not opting in is not a reflection of him not wanting to stay. It's just what's best for him financially. Should he want to stay at the end of this season, it would still be more prudent to do so with a new contract. So we will see what Kawhi Leonard does. We know Paul George is in it for the long haul, signing the 4-year, $190 million extension just before the start of this season. Meanwhile, 5 turnovers already for the Clippers in this first, as Porter Jr. couldn't finish that one and controlled by the Clippers.
And look, I know it's easier said than done, but, as fans, the way these contracts are structured, you can't just hold on to every single thing all season long. Like, is he going to resign? Is he not going to resign? You just got to let these things play out. And, Kawhi Leonard wants to be here. He grew up in LA, played down at San Diego State. So this is a destination that he wants to be in. He just wants to keep his options open. So I don't think this is something that needs to be focused in. If they win a couple games, if they lose a couple of games, don't focus in on that. Just focus in on the process for the Los Angeles Clippers and them getting better.
Well, it's not totally dissimilar to what we saw with Anthony Davis, right, Richard? As Leonard puts it down on the delivery from Batum. So Davis left his options open, but you thought ultimately he was going to stay with the Lakers, and eventually he did sign that max deal to stay.
Yeah, because where else was he going to go? Let's be really honest. You win the championship, you're not going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen.
That 3 drops in for Murray on his first field goal attempt of the game. Jamal Murray sparkled all playoffs long, averaged 26.5 points, 6.5 assists, 5 rebounds on over 50% shooting from the floor and 45% from 3 during the Nuggets' run to the Western Conference Finals a season ago, as George gets fouled and will shoot 2.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough matchup for Jamal Murray. Paul George has 5-6 inches on him almost, especially when you talk about that length and having the ability to post up.
George hits the first free throw. Hey, let's take a look at the upcoming national TV schedule. Tomorrow night, 3 games on NBA TV: Atlanta, Memphis, Philly and the Knicks, and Portland hosting Houston. And then TNT Tuesday, Milwaukee at Miami, and Phoenix hosts New Orleans. For more on these games, please go to NBA.com or visit the NBA app.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out. I'm loving these new jerseys. These jerseys are so impressive. A little red, orange, a little of that Denver skyline. I know Josh Kroenke and Stan and Ann and Nana in Columbia, Missouri are loving this right now. And speaking of loving it, how about that finish there by Porter Jr.? The kid's having himself a game.
7 points already for Porter Jr., a starter this season for Denver. As Ibaka can't push it home. Jokic fighting. Batum winning. Corner 3. Rims in for Paul George.
Paul George. I got a little bit of heat when I said Paul George is still a top 10 player in this league, and I believe that. Yes, he did not have a very good postseason, but he was coming off double shoulder surgery. Just had a lot of stuff going on. I think the bubble, everybody handled it differently. But I think Paul George, if he gets back to that defensive and offensive form, he is one of the top 10 players in this league.
Denver will take a timeout. Denver and the Clippers going at it. Hey, watch more live games than anywhere else with NBA League Pass, now available with a free 7-day trial. Visit NBA.com/watch now to get started. Hurry, the offer ends December 29th. Ryan Ruocco, Richard Jefferson, Malika Andrews with you. Appreciate you hanging out with us on Christmas night. Hope you've had a wonderful Christmas and are having a great holiday season. Nice cut there from Millsap, and of course Jokic delivered it perfectly.
Yeah, and he just does it so easy. And when you play with players like Jokic, it becomes so hard to guard everybody else because they get excited and they move because they know they're going to get rewarded.
Nice look from Leonard to Williams on the three. 11 of the 12 field goals in this game thus far have been assisted on. Here is Murray peeling back. Working with Jokic, little two-man game. Murray's jumper rims off, and Leonard the rebound. Luke Kennard into the game his first year with the Clippers. Just signed a 4-year, $64 million extension that'll kick in next year. Leonard sets up Ibaka. His three is good.
It's just so impressive to me watching Serge Ibaka, how he started his career, how he's still a very, very effective player. Pump fake, sidestep threes. That's what centers are shooting nowadays. That's just so hard to guard. It's so hard to guard.
15.5 points per game, a career high for Ibaka last season, and shot it at 38.5% from three.
And it's just, look, watch this. You see Kawhi Leonard under the post. You got to bring another one, and then great movement. Get to the corner. That's very similar. They say baseline drift, or baseline drive, baseline drift, but then Serge Ibaka, just a pump fake, one little sidestep to get the rhythm, and just pull up with confidence. That is so hard when you have centers that can space the floor, like Jokic, like Serge Ibaka. It just makes the game wide open for the guards.
Whistle underneath as Zubac and Murray got tangled up. Clippers, meanwhile, on an 11-2 run. Ivica Zubac in the second year of a 4-year, $28.5 million deal. There's your old coach, Richard. Ty Lue.
Yeah. Old teammate, old coach. It was weird when you have a player that you played with for a couple of years, and then he's coaching you in the playoffs and giving you DMPs. Not always fun, but you know what? I love playing with Ty Lue.
Now, Richard, what will he bring to this Clipper team that they need in this moment of growth?
Well, it's always tough because when you say what he will bring, it's almost like you're implying that Doc Rivers didn't have that. And I never had Doc Rivers as a coach. So I don't want to speak that way. But I will say that one thing that Ty Lue was very, very good with his time was how he handled all the players and the honesty and just talking to players. He played with guys that are on the court right now. So he still has a relatability as far as what players are dealing with, how players want to be talked to and handled. So I think this is a great opportunity, a new start for the Clippers organization. And look, you leave a championship coach in Doc Rivers and you get one in Ty Lue.
Where else can young stars show out?
They have a true superstar in Devin Booker.
And an all-star show the way.
Chris Paul's going to add so much.
For the win! Got it! Pelicans, Suns, Tuesday, 10 p.m.
A 21-16 Clippers lead over Denver. Will Barton into the game off the bench for the Nuggets. Out there with Murray, Jokic, Millsap, and Porter Jr. And that pass going to be collected by Millsap just in time. Shot clock down to 1. Barton can't hit the three. Jokic is fouled on the rebound. And Jokic keeping the possession alive for Denver. Triple-double watch again for Jokic.
Yeah, and you see this. Look, he's boxing out. When you're the offensive player and you're boxing out position, and he does so many things that you just can't teach. Right? Doesn't jump that high, not that quick, not that strong, and that's not a disrespect to him, but he knows position. He knows angles. He has the ability to read the ball as it's bouncing off the rim or even the flight of the ball before it hits the rim. That's why he's such a great rebounder without the typical athleticism and size.
Jokic, 6 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds in this first quarter. The last player to have a triple-double in each of his first 2 games of a season, Magic Johnson, back in the 82-83 season. That's what Jokic is after tonight as Kennard buries the 3. Clippers now 6 of 9 from deep in the first. That won't go for Dozier just entering the game for Denver. Kennard looks off the pass on the attack, pushes it up and off, and Jokic another rebound, his 4th.
Does it just feel like there's a little bit of extra energy in this game?
It does.
For both teams.
It's got that rematch juice, right? Barton slithering to the rim. Will Barton adjusting to coming back off the bench, which Mike Malone said he has been a total pro about as Porter Jr. takes over the starting spot. Knocked out of bounds to Denver. And part of what went into that decision, Richard, it's not just the evolution of Porter Jr., it's also that Barton, he missed the bubble with a knee injury and is still sort of working his way back to get all of his pop. See Monte Morris into the game for Denver, Kawhi Leonard out for the Clippers.
And it's tough. Like, Coach Malone has a very difficult job because when you bring Will Barton in with that first unit, he can handle it and you can play Jamal off. If you bring Will Barton in with that second unit, now you worry about Monte Morris and how that affects him as a ball handler and kind of an offensive control guy. So you're constantly juggling, and that's really what the first 20 games of the season is for. Let's get everybody acclimated. Let's see what group plays well together. That's what analytics are all for, just to see where you get your rhythm, how you need to finish quarters and halves and games. And so I think this is good, but you know, one injury and all of a sudden Will Barton could be starting the next 20 games.
Jokic, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Zubac's now with 2 fouls. Patrick Beverley also has 2, and Serge Ibaka with 2 fouls in this first quarter for the Clippers.
Yeah, you want to stay away from the bonus if you're playing against Denver because the majority of their team is a very, very good free throw shooting team.
Williams finds Zubac and a blocking foul called against Denver as Dozier hit the hardwood.
Let's see. Great roll. I think they're looking to see if that was a goaltend, but I don't know. I think that was a good block.
Yeah, and it is just going to be 2 shots for Zubac. No bucket, despite the pleas from Zubac, Patrick Beverley, and the Clippers. Richard, one of the things that was interesting, just hearing from some of the Clippers and Paul George specifically, was admitting that, yeah, that series, the loss to the Nuggets, it does stick with you.
Oh,
there wasn't a, hey, no, we're past. It was a, yeah, it does stick with me. And Paul George even used the word unacceptable, talking about his performance last season. And there is a sense of motivation from this group trying to bounce back after the way things ended.
You know, one thing that I picked up watching The Last Dance and Michael Jordan talking about some of those early losses to the Pistons. Those are motivational factors. This is the greatest player that we have seen talking about how he was getting his butt whooped by the Detroit Pistons and how he needed to work harder, how he needed to change his approach. And so everybody wants to jump on the Clippers. And yes, everyone's going to be down on you from the way you perform. But what will you do? Will you use that as motivation? Right? Will you use that as an opportunity to say, hey, we're going to spend extra time, whether it's chemistry, whether it's working on our game, so that that doesn't happen again. Great players always answer that call.
Dozier called for his second foul in 2 minutes. Kennard now with 4 points in his 4 minutes. Well, to that point, Richard, at Kawhi Leonard, as Patrick Patterson checks in for the Clippers, at his first media session after the 3-1 loss, the start of training camp, he actually said that very thing. He said, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, but this is how things are built. And I actually love that challenge.
Yeah, you got to. You're going to. There's nothing that's just going to be a straight climb to the top. You're going to have some struggles. one of my favorite quotes is, no one's ever been coddled to greatness. That means that you're going to have tough moments. You're going to have tough times, whether it's individually or as a team, if you're trying to accomplish something great, and the Clippers are trying to do that.
Your guy, Bol into the game, Richard.
Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. House of Highlights, all of them are ready for anything that Bol does. It will go viral.
Facundo Campazzo into the game as well for Denver.
Thank you for saying that name. I wasn't going to say it first.
They call him Facu Campazzo.
I'm just going to call him Facu.
I figured you would.
Keep it together, Ryan.
Jokic back to the line, where he is now 5 of 5 in the quarter. Nine points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists for Jokic. He's the lone starter remaining on the floor for Denver, out there with Barton, Morris, Bol, and Campazzo.
And you see Patterson in the game, because if you get 2 or 3 fouls on Serge, 2 or 3 fouls on Zubac, Jokic is a monster. You need bodies for him.
George fading away. Paul George with 10 points in the quarter, has not missed yet. Nice work by Williams, working around the screen to come up with a steal. Kennard looks off the initial pass, and then it's thrown out of bounds, deflected. Last hit man, it's Denver ball.
And look at this, Luke Kennard posting him up. Paul George with the turn and spin. That's just, look, Will Barton is just undersized to be guarding Paul George. And I love it when Paul George gets that in-between spot. I feel like at times he settles for too many threes. He's got the size and the strength, and I don't know if it's because of past injuries, but when he's going downhill and he's getting those little pull-ups, his game is so tough to contain.
Here is Barton, wiggling through traffic, forcing it up. Couldn't get it to go, but did get the whistle.
And this is one of the advantages.
Coming.
Yeah, this is one of the advantages for Will Barton. When you're coming off the bench, you have the ability to have the ball in your hands to be one of the primary scorers and playmakers for the second unit. When you're with the first unit, and I know there's some pride to being a starter, but when you're with the first unit, you got Jamal Murray, you got Gary Harris, you got Jokic. So now he gets to get himself going. He gets to get other players going. So there are advantages to playing in the second unit, and it's not who starts the game, it's who finishes it.
Well, that was one of the things Michael Malone talked about as well. It being a part of the closing 5 potentially, as Barton misses both free throws. 6-point Clipper lead, 41 seconds to go in this first. George leading the way with 10 points for LA. Williams, nice touch pass to Mann, who puts it down. Largest lead for the Clippers, it is 8. Campazzo will give it back to Morris. About a 7-second difference, game and shot clock. Morris got tripped, and Monte Morris is going to shoot 2.
And watch this ball movement. Ball barely touches anybody's hand, just swinging, and you're able to get a dunk. You saw Bol there at the bottom. You know, you're not sure if these young players are ready for these quick defensive rotations yet, but that's what Coach Malone is looking. That's what these first 20 games are for. Get your rotations down, kind of get these things on video so you can kind of work for it, because you didn't have a traditional training camp or preseason. So really, these first 20 games are still your preseason and your training camp.
Gary Harris back in for Denver. His man checks out.
Paul George was nearly perfect tonight so far. He's just missed once. What does that do for the rest of the group when he's firing like that?
We just feed off of him and Kawhi, and he's doing a good job of, when they come in a double team, of moving the basketball, we're driving and kicking, and get some easy shots. We just got to take care of the basketball on the other end, on the offensive end.
And the Nuggets are known for being a talented free throw shooting team. 2 fouls on Serge Ibaka, 2 on Patrick Beverley, 2 on Zubac. How will you adjust?
We just got to keep throwing fresh bodies at him. You know, Joker's a tough cover. He draws a lot of fouls, a lot of attention. So we just got to play with our hands up and just be aware that he's trying to draw fouls.
Thanks so much, Ty. Best of luck, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Malika.
All right, Malika. Well, Ty Lue certainly has to like 11 assists on 11 made field goals thus far for the Clippers after that Kennard 3 to start the quarter.
And you see the Clippers came out in a little bit of a zone. A lot of times teams run zone out of timeouts just to throw off whatever play. And Paul George again, have yourself a first half already, Paul George.
Well, he knows you said he's still a top 10 player. How about Bol unable to hit from 3? And the rebound will go to the Clippers.
Well, that's the thing. When you're one of those great players, you have to maintain that. You know, speaking of that, Monte Morris, you talked about assist-to-turnover ratio. He was one of the best coming out of college at assist-to-turnover ratio. That's why the Denver Nuggets drafted him, is because they liked the way he controlled the game.
Reggie Jackson lines it up and knocks it down from deep. 9th 3 of the half for the Clippers, and Jamal Murray both outstanding in the playoffs and helping lead Denver to a win and a comeback in that Western Conference semifinal series against the Clippers. Those two, Richard, looking like a duo that can carry a team deep into the playoffs.
They can, and it's all about who you surround them with. You know, Jamal Murray has the ability to really just score at a high level. Jokic has the ability to get everyone involved, and great pass there by Will Barton. That's what we're talking about when you're talking about having the ability to have both of them on the court at the same time. Jamal Murray and Will Barton, that just gets the ball movement for everyone.
Turned over there by the Clippers. Now that series was the second straight series Denver came back from down 3-1. First team in playoff history to come back from 2 3-1 deficits in the same postseason. And Denver overcame double-digit deficits in all 3 of those games against the Clippers.
I'll tell you what, being in the bubble, it was really crazy. It wasn't so much that they came back down from 3-1. That was just impressive enough. But the fact that they did it against a team that a lot of people had to win the championship, and they were up double digits every time in the second half, I've never seen anything like it before.
19, 16, 12. Morris got fouled and will shoot 3 free throws here as Monte Morris goes to the line.
When you see just good defense and just unlucky, sometimes that ball just ends up in the right place at the wrong time. And yes, that is a foul by Luke Kennard. No point in even arguing that one.
Morris a chance to cut into what has swelled to a 13-point deficit.
Where else can you make a fast break from one live game to hundreds of others? Where can you watch it all on your phone, TV, or tablet? Only here on NBA League Pass. Check out a free trial December 22nd to the 29th.
Morris hits all 3, 11-point game. Kennard, he's been aggressive, which is what Ty Lue wants from him. Zubac spins into a bucket, plus the foul.
Zubac is just so talented. Great hands around the rim. That was a great drive. Closeout by Jamal Murray. Luke Kennard draws the defense, and then, look, just the ability. There's 4 Denver Nuggets around Zubac, and he still has the ability to finish.
We're talking to Ty Lue about both Kennard, who he said he wants him to lean into playmaking more, which we saw there, and then Zubac, and he said, look, he's got to be a guy able to play in fourth quarters for us, finish games. He got a taste of that last year when Harrell was out for a while during bubble play, and we're probably going to need more of that this season with Montrezl Harrell now with the Lakers. Zubac's becoming a more important piece for this Clipper team.
And look, he has all of the talent and all of the tools to be out there on the court, especially for teams that are playing big.
Here's Bol at 7-2. Morris a deep three. It is good. Monte Morris with 8 points in his 6 minutes of action off the bench.
Yeah, and you talked about Monte Morris signing that extension. You know, not many second-round picks see extensions. So for him to come in and prove that and really be such a key contributor to one of the best teams in the league really points out how hard he works and his attention to detail.
George, step back three is short. Here comes Barton. Murray, nice find. Good movement here. Morris, not that time. George with 13 points, leading the way for the Clippers. Good hands, and the steal from Denver. Barton got fouled, count it, plus the contact.
That's one of the old school and ones. Paul George in and out. Will Barton with the great hands, taking a look over his shoulder and just left-handed finish for the and one.
And for contact happened after the gather. So that's why this is a three-point opportunity now for Barton.
I just want to know who you are explaining that to. Who are you explaining that to?
There are gather police out there, Richard. There are. I'm telling you, they exist.
I'm not saying that they don't exist, but do you want to give them attention? That's an NBA and one 100 times out of 100.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Leonard got to his spot, finishes plus the foul.
And look, when Kawhi Leonard gets to that spot, he's going to score 10 times out of 9. Look, he just takes his time against Jamal Murray. Just take a moment, Ryan. And look, just backs it down. You got to get more help because that's easy for him. That pull up over top of a smaller defender. And we saw Paul George from the exact same block. If these guys get more of these post ups and the ability to shoot over smaller defenders, they are so difficult to guard.
Already 50 points in the half for the Clippers, who are shooting 61.5% as a team. They're 10 for 15 from downtown. Porter short on a three. Beverly out there with Leonard, Ibaka, Patterson, and Reggie Jackson. Leonard had it poked from behind out of bounds, so it's going to stay here with the Clippers, 9 to shoot. So far for the Clippers, 14 assists on their 15 made field goals.
Yeah, they're sharing the ball. They're moving the ball well. Both teams have had, quite a few turnovers for this first half, and I think you're going to see that. When you have so much new stuff, teams not getting the opportunity to practice and play the way they would like because of the short layoff. And one. Okay, Serge.
Ibaka a chance for three in a battle of and ones. The Clippers have the last two.
And just not a very good job defensively by Jokic. You can't give up that position in front of the hoop. We saw him battle for offensive rebounding position to get that offensive rebound. You got to battle for that exact same position on the defensive end because Serge Ibaka, Zubac, these guys are posting up and they're hungry for that ball down there on that block.
Ibaka, not only a career high 15.5 points per game last season, also had his most rebounds per game since the 13-14 season. Over 8 boards per game a season ago with Toronto. Lead is back to 14 for the Clippers. Murray, little shimmy, got bumped. He won't have a chance at the and one, but will shoot 2. Murray out there with 3 fouls now, but staying on the floor with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. And a chance for a couple at the line here for Jamal Murray.
And this is a similar first half that he had against Sacramento. You know, they talk about Denver Nuggets taking that next jump.
Hold that thought, Richard. Josh Allen and the Bills clinched their first AFC East title in 25 years Sunday. Next up, locking up the conference's 2 seed. They look to sweep the Patriots for the first time since the 1999 season. Monday Night Football, Bills, Pats, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and ABC, ESPN Deportes, and the app. Our coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6.
But we were talking about Jamal Murray, you know, just before the promo, and they don't need him to be 40, 40, 40 like he was in the bubble, but they need high-level performance from him all year long if they're going to reach the heights that they believe they can.
Well, they want consistency, right? Jackson misfires from 3, and that's something Mike Malone's been very honest about. Boy, that was a backcourt. NBA countdown at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. How about the Clippers and the way they've been distributing the basketball this first half? 16 assists on 18 made field goals. They're 11 of 17 from deep.
Well, look, we talked about
the rejection.
A little bit of extra out here on this court tonight. There is, I'm telling you. If you're a Clipper fan, Clipper player, Clipper organization, you had to listen. It wasn't the Lakers winning a championship. It was how you lost to the Denver Nuggets. That was the thing. And then I think the Lakers win the championship was just the icing on top. But I really feel like this Clipper organization, this group of players is really locked in this year.
Leonard. Facing up, takes, can't hit. Rebound, Jokic. A 16-point Clipper lead. 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go in this first half. Morris finds the cutter. Harris behind the back to Millsap. What a delivery. Gary Harris finding Paul Millsap.
Never seen it. Come on, Gary Harris with the around the back on the cut. Great ball movement, great spacing by the Denver Nuggets.
Leonard goes baseline, a bounce to Beverly. Can't hit from 3. Leonard used his pause to snare that one. Jackson will fire. He can't hit. Rebound tipped into the arms of Porter Jr. Look at a push with Jokic. Good movement here. Millsap's 3 won't go. Jokic got fouled as he one-handed the rebound.
And watch this. Great cut by Gary Harris. And there was a time where my guy Paul Millsap would have dunked that, but it's okay. It's okay, Paul. Just go ahead and get that bucket and get back on defense.
Jokic at the line. You know, you talk about Paul Millsap. Kenny Atkinson is now an assistant coach with Ty Lue, and he used to talk about Paul Millsap from his days as an assistant in Atlanta before he went and did an outstanding job as the head coach of Brooklyn. And he said, Millsap, what people don't realize is he's just unbelievably talented. He used to play all of our guys one-on-one in Atlanta, our guards. He'd be beating them regularly. Millsap was always the champion. Think of those Atlanta teams, 60-win team under Mike Budenholzer. A lot of talented players on that team, and it was Millsap who would win those one-on-one games.
Oh, yeah. I don't think people really give Paul Millsap the credit for a player. Kind of quiet, but this guy's a 4-time All-Star. Let's take a moment. Paul Millsap is a 4-time All-Star. Just a great power forward for this Denver Nugget team. And you see here the replay. I don't know if that's a foul. I thought that was good defense.
George lobbing it. Zubac. And there's going to be another foul against Denver. And that one's going to put Denver over the limit and put the Clippers at the line. And you could hear the officials saying to Mike Malone, got a wrist, Mike.
Yeah.
Zubac Misses the first. Let's check in with Malika Andrews in Denver.
Well, Michael Porter, that possession didn't end the way that he wanted it to, but when I spoke to him by phone yesterday, he said that his goal this season is to emphasize defense, something that he says he knows has been a knock on him. And in order to become a better two-way player, even though it was a short off-season, he spent a lot of time in the weight room. He told me he added about 9 pounds of muscle, and he says that he wants to be the best player. And if he is the best players are not only guarded by the best, they also guard the best, and that's what he's working towards, Ryan.
Yeah, Malika, it's such a, a good point, because if you want to elevate to that level, something Michael Malone talks to Porter about as well, you have to be two-way. Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James are obviously the gold standard, but that's what Porter hopes to ascend to as he fouls Beverly there. And Richard, the one thing Michael Malone talked about, and we heard Eric Spoelstra talk to us about it earlier today in regard to Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, is the education that those players, as well as Michael Porter, got being in an extended playoff run and seeing what it was like to endure opposing teams targeting you on that end of the floor.
Yeah, that's a sunken place. You don't want to be in that dark place where teams are just going at you every possession on the offensive end. But I'll say this, it takes time. Michael Porter, he hadn't played much basketball in the last 2 years, and it's great that he has these goals. But understand, it could take 3-4 years for these goals to come to fruition. So he's got to be patient and hardworking, not just hardworking.
Jokic, nice use of the window, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists for Nikola Jokic. Clippers have shot it brilliantly and mostly controlled this first half. That wing three is good. 12-3 of the half for the Clippers. Beverly's first 3 of the game, and the Clippers are 12 of 20 from downtown. They have 17 assists in this first half. That free throw good for Morris. Hey, DraftKings is making NBA action more exciting every night this season. Try DraftKings for free now.
So I want to say this. I'm not trying to start nothing.
Uh-oh, I'm nervous.
But are you nervous right now if you're a Clipper fan?
You're saying you've seen these first half leads before, Richard, in this matchup?
Look, I'm just asking a question.
Kennard doesn't get it to drop. Well, in games 5 through 7, all Nugget wins and Clippers losses. The Clippers were a plus 30 in the first half and a minus 64 in the second half. So, hey, make sure you don't go to bed. Stick around for quarters 3 and 4. Here's Leonard, the jab step and the jumper. Kawhi Leonard.
That's one great thing about not having the crowd is you can hear T. Lue trying to tell Zubac to get out of the way so that that Kawhi Leonard, could go one-on-one.
Monte Morris has been a force off the bench for Denver. 11 points in 11 minutes of this first half. Leonard has 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals for the Clippers. 13 points from Paul George. Batum run off the line, bounces inside. Zubac in a crowd got fouled. And Ivica Zubac will shoot 2.
You see this great drive by Batum to get this man on a minimum contract. Good for the Clippers. He's going to contribute so much of their versatility because when he catches the ball, not only can he score, he can shoot the ball. He does a lot of different things, but he always looks to create for other players. Getting into the seams, driving, kicking out, dropping passes off as you see him dropping off to Zubac right there. I think he's going to be a key contributor for them all season long.
A lot of free throws in this first half. The Clippers are now 13 of 17 from the line. Denver 15 of 20. Jamal Murray has 3 fouls for Denver. Ibaka, Beverly, and Patterson all with 3 for the Clippers. Harris given space, can't put it in, missed it badly. Kennard, the weak side rebound. 11 different Clippers have scored in the half. That's going to be a turnover from. Been an effective first half for those two men, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, combining for 23 points on 8 of 15 shooting, after they both had very effective opening nights in a win against the Lakers. Here caught sleeping, Barton takes advantage out of the inbound for Denver. A freebie there for Denver out of the timeout. Meanwhile, Murray and Harris this first half, just a combined 1 of 6 4-points for the Nuggets. Batum will take. Can't hit from 3. Patterson amongst 3 Nuggets. Got fouled. What an effort from Patrick Patterson on the floor with 3 fouls at the end of this half. He'll get 2 free throws.
And look, again, just Conley. Look, he's begging for the ball. Jokic is begging for the ball because he knows he gets an easy bucket. I used to see that from Jason Kidd, Steve Nash. Guys that just understand. They're always looking for their teammates, even if the ball's not in their hands yet. You know, it's so impressive to have your center begging for the ball, and it gets just guys out running and movement. And here on the other side, you're going to give up second chance shots and second chance opportunities when you're down 16. That's not a recipe for success.
Well, right now, the Clippers are a plus 12 on the glass, and that was an issue for Denver in their loss against Sacramento. They were a minus 8 on the glass, and they give up 17 offensive rebounds. Mike Malone said, if you look at our team, when we rebound well, we win. When we don't, we don't.
So poetic.
That's right. Jokic, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists in this half. 3 to shoot. Jokic has it knocked away by Leonard. Batum to his right. Leonard the shovel. Batum the finish plus the foul.
Look at that. Doing it on both ends, ladies and gentlemen. Kawhi Leonard. Pokes that hand in there. Takes it and then waits till the very last minute and then drops it off. Great defense, great offense for the Clippers.
Did you see Kawhi on Jimmy Kimmel, Richard?
I'm going to be really honest, I missed that one.
Well, first of all, I want you to know that coming up on the Toyota halftime, the marathon continues. Maria Taylor and Jalen Rose still going, their 5th game of the day. Well, Jimmy asked Kawhi about his monster hands and if there was any disadvantages to having them. And he said, the one disadvantage, can't fit his hands in his pockets.
Ladies and gentlemen, always high-level content here with me, Ryan. Kawhi Leonard, man that's made $300 million, can't fit his hands in his pocket. No one cares, Ryan. No one feels bad for him.
You don't know the plight of the big-handed man.
The big-handed man, yeah, I think he's really struggled. You know, these are the things that he's probably talking with his therapist on a daily basis about. I got you.
Need some custom pockets for those puppies.
just stop, right? Come on, man. Look,
as soon as I heard that, I said, that's getting told to Richard on the broadcast.
You do this just to egg me on. Like, what is Richard going to say? But look, I had the fortunate opportunity to play with him his first year in San Antonio, and the kid can do it all. And, you know, I really believe that this Clipper team has a chance, you know, to win a championship with this group. I do believe if they don't win a championship, not necessarily this year or, you know, whatever, but I just believe this group has a chance to win a championship before it's all said and done.
Kennard couldn't finish. Another offensive rebound for the Clippers. Another chance here for Kawhi. 6 to shoot. Leonard lining it up. Leonard got fouled on the floor before the jumper, but the Clippers are in the bonus, so more free throws coming. This will be the 21st and 22nd of the half for LA.
And look, Will Barton's not doing a good job. You just got to play good defense, good balanced defense right there. You go for a reach against one of the best offensive players in the league, they're going to make you pay for that.
24 combined free throws this half after this second one from Leonard, as Porter Jr. checks back in for the final possession for Denver.
Now, I know we talked about
19-point lead.
Yeah, I know we talked about the Denver Nuggets improving every year, but they are the hunted. When you're in the Western Conference Finals, you are the hunted this year. And it's a different position for them to be in, and they have to answer that call.
8 seconds left in the first half. Jokic with 1 second left. His three is good. Nikola Jokic buries the three to end the half. 16.5 lead as we get ready to start the third quarter. Hey everybody, Ryan Ruocco, Richard Jefferson, welcoming you back inside our homes. Richard, much like the game we did earlier this afternoon with the Miami Heat and the New Orleans Pelicans, the Clippers taking a page out of the Heat's book with the way they're shooting from deep. Incredible shooting in that first half from LA as we take a look at tonight's fight for victory, brought to you by Modelo.
And so many of these threes are assisted on. You see, getting to that corner off the Kawhi Leonard drive. Another swing for Luke Kennard. Ball movement. Ball movement is the key to open shots. It's the key to high percentage shots, and the Clippers have mastered that in the first half.
Triple-double watch for both of these men. Kawhi Leonard, 12 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. Nikola Jokic, 16 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. Jokic looking for 2 straight triple-doubles to begin the season. Let's go to Denver and to Malika Andrews.
Well, to prepare for this game, guys, the Nuggets, they didn't actually watch a whole lot of tape on their series from the bubble. Michael Malone said that he isn't dusting off any of that tape in preparation for the game because there's too much personnel change for both teams. Instead, he's leaning on what the Clippers did in the regular season in their sole game leading into this and in the preseason. Now, I digitally checked in with the coaching staff because I'm unable to actually go back to the locker room in this socially distanced setup, and their assistant coach, their lead assistant coach, said that basically the message is that they need to be more disciplined and not bail out defenders and stick to the game plan and give max effort on boards in this second half, Ryan.
Well, Malika, it's such a good point about the turnover for these teams, and especially Denver. Richard, I feel like there's this assumption they bring back the entire same group, but you know, they lost 6 players, including 3 of their top 8 rotational players from a season ago. So while they have the same core in a truncated offseason, you are trying to implement some significant new pieces if you're Michael Malone, and that's obviously a challenge for Ty Lue as well.
Yeah, and look, Jeremy Grant is a player that when you look at what he was able to do last year for this team, showing up and just fitting right in with the energy. Oh, I think that's off. Who's that off on?
Everybody has an opinion. Let's see.
Everyone has an opinion except for us. Let's see. Jokic with the catch and shoot. It looked like, was that off Kawhi's foot?
Did it hit a hand afterwards? Regardless, it's going to be Nuggets basketball here. Richard, you can finish your thought, though, if you'd like, on the new pieces on the roster.
Don't tell me what to do, Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah, but to finish my thought, you know, Jeremy Grant is just, you know, he was a player that fit this team, the athleticism, being able to score, move without the ball. He was such a big piece of what they did last year. And so, you know, that's what this new portion of the season, and we're going to keep echoing that because you're going to see it all year long. Guys trying to figure out themselves, their coaches, and their new staff. Speaking of new players, Serge Ibaka. Come on now, big fella. Don't show him the whole package.
Hammer. And a whistle. On this end, a foul goes against Beverly, I believe, and that will be his 4th personal. Let's check back in with Malika for a little more on that and the roster. Standing bubble play and playoffs is consistency and starting strong. that in Malone's words, he has been a historically slow starter. Wanted to change that this year as Jokic evaded but could not finish. And Batum came away with the rebound for the Clippers. George rhythmatically couldn't finish on the pull-up. And Millsap now in control for Denver. Nice delivery from Harris to Porter on the three.
Great drive, great pass. You know, Porter, when he catches that ball, it's almost like he's shooting it before it touches his hands. You know, you love that offensive mindset for the young players.
10 points for Porter, who had 7 in the first few minutes of this game. Leonard buries a three. 17 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists for Kawhi Leonard.
Okay, I'm going to say it. Can somebody tell Jamal Murray that the season has started? Can somebody tell him that? And I love Jamal Murray. I had him as a player. I love what he's done, but he's got to get going. Speaking
nice
of
move
getting
from Harris
going,
there.
Yeah, if Jamal Murray wants to be a superstar, then we need to treat him like a superstar. And if there was any superstar that had a game and a half the way he has started this season, we would be criticizing him. And, you know, he is a slow starter, but he's got to improve. Not only for himself, but for his actual team, he's got to get going.
Well, that's exactly what Michael Malone told us before the game, saying he has to start faster if he's going to ascend to that superstar status. Nice delivery from Harris on that three from Porter. Murray, in the first year of a 5-year, $169.6 million deal, became the first player with 40-plus points in 3 elimination games in a single postseason while in the bubble. But he was 1 of 9 on opening night against Sacramento, and Murray is 1 of 7 thus far tonight. Here's Porter, quick trigger, and missed it badly.
And look, we know that Jamal Murray is going to get going. We understand that. But if you want to be a superstar in this league, it is about doing it every single night. You look at that. Those are tough numbers to start your season as a guy that wants to make an all-star game. And Jamal Murray will be an all-star in this league. But like fast starts are key to all-star games. You got to get going. Got to get your team going and get yourself going.
Jokic, the rebound, his 7th to go at 7 assists and 16 points. Harris trying to work the game with Jokic. 3 to shoot. Jokic draws 2 and got fouled as Beverly raced over. That is going to be Beverly's 4th now.
When you got your center being able to back down, shoot fadeaways, he's just so tough to guard. It's him and Embiid. Him and Embiid are the 2 best centers in this league. And honestly, I probably have to take Jokic over Embiid.
What gives him the edge for you, Richard?
Well, I think Joel Embiid is a better defensive player, but when I look at what Jokic does from the distribution point, how he can handle the ball, he's a great three-point shooter, great free throw shooter. You know, he doesn't have very many weaknesses in his game when it comes on the offensive end and creating for other people. Just to look at the triple doubles he's had and accumulated over the course of his young career, I just think he's the best center in this league.
So 4 fouls on Beverly now, who's checked out. The other foul that originally seemed as if it was Beverly's 4th, which preceded the actual 4th, was actually given to Ibaka, and it was his 4th. So you have Ibaka and Beverly now with 4 fouls. So the Clippers in some foul trouble here with a lot of real estate left to cover. Can Denver take advantage? George had it knocked away. Good hands from Millsap. Harris scoops it up, gets fouled, hooks it up, and nearly floated it in. That was just the 3rd team foul against the Clippers. If they call that foul on the floor, it'll be a side out of bounds. And they do. So a side out for Denver, trying to create a little momentum, get back in this game with the Clippers up by 18. Here is Murray. Waits and lays it in. Just the second field goal of the game for Jamal Murray.
There we go. Just put his head down.
Richard Jefferson, Malika Andrews with you, wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season. We know how irregular this holiday season is, but we hope you found a way to safely celebrate with those you love. We certainly send all of our best wishes to all of you. As Zubac lays it in. Murray on the attack. All right, Jamal Murray back-to-back buckets. Can he get going?
And look, I love it. He's put his head down on 2 plays. They've gone underneath him on multiple pick and rolls, and he still puts his head down and just gets a layup.
George, another 3. Paul George, 16 points, 4 of 8 from downtown now. Harris can't hit from 3, and a foul underneath as Millsap went for the board.
I think he hurt his pinky. It is kind of cool to be able to hear a lot of like the what would normally be ambient noise. You're actually able to hear so much of that through your TV. It is kind of a unique experience.
Jokic alone from deep, and a foul underneath. This time it goes against Millsap. And so Denver turns it over.
Paul Millsap is a hack. He's been a hack his whole life. Stop fouling, Paul.
What made you just go heel on Paul Millsap, Richard?
I don't know.
You
That's
love
my guy.
Paul Millsap.
I do. That's my guy. I just feel like, he's out here fouling.
George gives it up. Williams cutting through. Zubac couldn't handle. Good D from Porter Jr. who came back, and now Millsap is fouled. And a lot of fouls in this game. Had 22 free throws apiece in the first half. You have Ibaka and Beverly who are on the bench with 4 fouls right now. Millsap and Murray each have 3 for Denver. Patterson and Batum have 3 for the Clippers. And Denver is in the bonus with 6 minutes and 3 seconds to go in this third. So can they use this as a springboard to come back? Let's take a look at the upcoming national TV schedule brought to you by Old Navy. NBA TV tomorrow night, Atlanta at Memphis, Philly and the Knicks, Houston and Portland, TNT Tuesday, Milwaukee and Miami, New Orleans at Phoenix. It's nice having NBA games back, isn't it, Richard?
It is. Unfortunately, we're not doing any of those games, but we still want you guys to tune in.
That's right.
That's right. Still support.
5 on our networks today and 2 for each of us. So we're satisfied for a little bit, right?
I'm still hungry.
Me too, man.
There we go.
Let's play another one tonight after. Millsap knocks down the 3.
See, that's all I did. I talk a little trash to Paul. He gets going. A couple free throws, a 3. I'm just trying to inspire him from here.
George flags it down after the deflection. 15-point game. Clippers have led by as many as 21. Batum cans the 3. 15th 3 of the game for the Clippers. They are 15 of 29 from deep. That's 52%.
Yeah, that's just, you want to say Denver has to do a better job, but when a team's shooting 50% from 3, some of that is them and some of that is you. That's just going to be tough to overcome.
Murray misfired there. Here's Williams leaving for Zubac, and a foul called against Millsap, who thought he got it cleanly.
What did I say about Paul 5 minutes ago?
Zubac.
What did I say about Paul 5 minutes ago? You don't want to
repeat that cleanly, Richard.
No, Paul's a hack. He fouls every time down the court and has never fouled a person ever in his career.
Not
Still
everybody in the
guy.
audience knows your sarcasm, Richard.
That's their fault. They'll get used to it.
Sports fans, gear up at NBAstore.com with officially licensed fan gear for every team and all the players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. NBAstore.com, a Fanatics experience.
Zubac hits the first and the second. The Clippers now 20 for 24 from the line in this game. Zubac 8 of 11 from the line. Jokic flips it up and in, plus the foul.
He's so tough down there. Just such an awkward, unorthodox game. Look, you're running a 1-5 like pin down. And just he has the ability. He didn't even leave the ground to get that shot. Watch this dribble. Look, does he take off? Does he jump? No, he does not jump and gets that off. Just a very, very unorthodox, hard to guard game.
Jokic now with 20 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, had 29, 15, and 14 in Denver's loss to Sacramento in their opener, trying to become the first player since Magic Johnson to record a triple-double in each of his first 2 games to begin a season. Magic did that in the 82-83 season. No player has done it since. (88-72), Clippers in front, 4:33 to go in the third.
So dribble weak, here comes Kawhi Leonard on the dribble weak. Same plays from Cleveland. I see you, T. Lou.
Batum catch fire and hit from deep. Batum now with 13 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists. The Clippers have 25 assists on 28 made field goals. Nice fake from Barton. Can't get it to go. Morris straight on 3, rims out. Rebound Kennard. A 19-point cushion for the Clippers. And that's going to be an offensive foul as Murray took the contact from Leonard.
And look, Denver's done a pretty good job just not turning over the ball. The only problem is for them is that they're allowing the Clippers to shoot 50% from 3, 15 for 29. You're not going to win too many games if your opponent is shooting that many threes and at that percentage.
Especially when you're 6 from 24.
I wasn't going to mention that, but I didn't want to bring that part up too.
Jokic turns it over. Well, you think about it, Richard. In today's NBA, if you are a minus 27 at the three-point line, like Denver is in this game, you're going to have a really hard time winning.
You're going to be down 20 with 3 minutes to go in the third.
Williams' pull-up is good. Lou Williams just his second field goal of the game. The 3-time Sixth Man of the Year. Most points off the bench in NBA history. Murray, difficult shot, but connects.
And look, Jamal Murray has that catch fire, unstoppable ability. Like he can go for 10, 15.
Shooting it at 25% from deep. Williams hesitated. 6 to shoot. Williams leaning away. Some contact, no call. Barton the rebound. Denver looking for a push here. We saw them overcome 3 double-digit deficits in the playoffs against the Clippers. But LA has dominated this third and this game thus far. George doesn't get the roll. Jokic lost the rebound. 3 Nuggets there, and Denver ends up giving the Clippers another chance.
And they always make you pay. They make you pay. They just, when you give up those type of plays, you get even more frustrated because you know the other team's about to score.
Here come the Clippers again. Kennard. Out there with Zubac, Williams, George, and Batum. George, step back 3 is good. 21 points for Paul George. Sustain any success so far tonight against the Clippers. A 98-74 Clippers lead. As that scoop won't go from Barton, but a foul and 2 free throws coming for Will Barton. 1:04 left in this third quarter. Biggest lead of the game for the Clippers.
And now look, let's look forward a little bit and understand, like, yes, it's just 2 games. The Sacramento game was just 1 game for the Denver Nuggets. The Clippers, one of the best teams in the league, and this is not obviously your best performance, you know, but ultimately when we talked about Will Barton starting versus Michael Porter Jr. or who's going to run the second unit, you start off 0-2, 0-3. That's when the coaches start to, like, okay, let's change this. Let's try something else. Let's change a rotation so that we're more aggressive in the third quarter. Let's try a different group. Maybe if we put Will Barton in the starting lineup, that can help get Jamal Murray going. So many times that these early games we talked about, as much as it is Jamal Murray struggling, which he is, and he needs to play better, sometimes getting the lineups right can help a player like that get going.
Kennard straight on 3, won't go. Barton the board, 23-point cushion for the Clippers. Barton, nice little hesitation, soaring through the lane, couldn't finish. Jokic tips it in. Jokic, he gets credit for 2 rebounds there. He's going to have 10. I'll make it Hartenstein. Hartenstein, who did his Jokic impression with a little volley on the rim.
Yeah, I could see how that's confusion. They both jumped about 6 inches. Ooh, good steal. Oh.
Isaiah Hartenstein in his first year with the Nuggets after the last 2 with Houston. Barton going to shoot free throws here. Hartenstein actually played with Monte Morris at Rio Grande Valley in the G League. Nice chemistry between those 2.
And I think you hear that more and more. Guys that are really using the G League, teams that are using the G League to develop players. You see how important it is in San Antonio, how important it is up in Toronto. You have so many players that have come through that G League system, even with Nick Nurse being down there as a coach. You know, these G Leagues are important. You got to use those minutes and opportunity to get better.
George kicks. Williams fades, left it short. Hartenstein the rebound. 8 seconds left in the quarter. Barton the spin. Barton the attack. Nice find. Hartenstein couldn't finish. And that'll do it for the third. The Clippers, a 19-point lead after 3. Fourth quarter action coming up next.
Emphasize the need to defend the glass and tighten your transition D. How do you turn this around quickly?
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of hard work. I think our defense most of the night's been poor. We haven't rebounded the ball at all, and they're killing us from the three-point line. So we have 12 more minutes to try to get better.
Another tough shooting night for Jamal Murray. I know you've said you trust him to work through this, but how do you help him spark his offense?
Just tell him to stay aggressive. You know, they're doing a good job putting a lot of different defenders on him. He's just got to stay committed to his shot, stay aggressive, and attack the basket, get a couple easy ones.
Thanks, Michael. Good luck, guys.
Well, 17-point game. Clippers have led by as many as 24. That floater left short, followed up. Nice little slink inside, and the finish on the reverse.
A key 3-4 minutes here, Ryan. Get it to 10. Get it to 10. See what you can do. But you got plenty of time in this game, and one thing you know is that this Denver Nugget team is confident that they can come back.
Dozier's first bucket of the game. Good contest here. Murray ends up with it 5-on-2. Dozier lays it in. And just like that, it is a much more manageable 13-point game, and Ty Lue needs a timeout. And a chance to cut a little deeper, but Leonard comes out with the cold-blooded jumper.
And I saw my Twitter mentions go up when I said when Kawhi gets that shot, he makes it 10 times out of 9. That means it's automatic, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why T. Lue called that play for him out of this timeout after that 11-0 run by the Denver Nuggets.
19 points for Leonard. Barton gets denied, and it's out of bounds off him. Ibaka the block, and Barton then caught it while standing out of bounds.
You know, again, good job shifting, but look, you lose Montrezl Harrell, but look at what you get. You get Serge Ibaka, a little bit bigger, got all of the athleticism, had career numbers last year, like you pointed out earlier, and yes, he did sign for under market value.
Leonard working Dozier. Leonard one-on-one. Help didn't come. Leonard takes advantage. What you said, Richard.
What did I say? 10 times out of 9, he's going to make that shot. He's getting to that spot, ladies and gentlemen.
Morris hits the jumper. You know, those are big buckets too, Richard, because you know that Denver kept creeping closer. If it got inside of double digits, you know, at least for Denver, they're going to be buoyed by the thoughts of what they were able to do last year against the Clippers, coming back from double-digit deficits. Hartenstein trying to come up with a steal. Jackson lets it fly. And it's going to be a shot clock violation as that tilts out of bounds.
And great job by the Denver Nuggets adjusting, because they were going to that play for a 3rd time in a row, because it is automatic for Kawhi Leonard, and they doubled him and forced the turnover. So great adjustment on the fly by the Denver Nuggets to kind of slow down what Kawhi was starting to build up.
102-87, Clippers in front, 9 minutes to go in the 4th. Lot of game left. Murray connects on a 3. Just the second 3 of the game for Jamal Murray. He's up to 15 points now, has started to get it going a bit.
See, people, all you got to do is crack a couple of jokes and these guys will start to wake up, start playing their game. Jamal Murray has really been the difference maker in this little comeback that they've been starting.
We call that a 2 from Murray. Ibaka's jumper is good. Check that. It was corrected now on our box scores to a 3 from Murray. 14-point Clipper lead, 8:18 to go in the 4th. Here is Barton around the Jokic screen, back into the game. Jokic 1 assist, 2 rebounds away from a triple-double. Murray fading away. Is he going to start to heat up?
Let's go, Jamal Murray. Give us a game, young fella.
17 now for Murray. 7 in the quarter.
And you see that defense completely shifted over.
Beverly hops into a bucket. Murray, another 3. Oh, yeah. He's got it.
Here we go. Here we go. This is what we said. Jamal Murray is one of those guys that scores in bunches. He can give you 10, 12 points in 5 or 6 possessions. That's how good he is.
Bubble Murray has arrived. Jackson behind the back, flips it up and in. Reggie Jackson getting creative. Murray gives it up. Jokic on the fake, the Euro, and the toss. By 24, they have cut it to 11. Had possession moments ago and turned it over. Still a lot of game left. Beverly will take, can't hit, long board, loose ball taken by Denver. Murray is fouled and then hit hard to the floor afterwards. But the foul came long before what happened under the hoop.
And look, you can see, it's weird. You see Denver moving with just a little bit more intensity. They're getting those 50-50 balls. They are going, and I don't know why Patrick Beverly looks so confused and upset about that foul. But look, Denver's playing with a little bit more intensity right now. And somebody caught. Ooh.
Wow, Kawhi Leonard is down, and as you can see, bleeding quite a bit. And being tended to by the Clippers training staff.
Man.
You saw Leonard collide with Jokic there on the rebound.
I didn't see it. Let's see. Oh no!
And he caught
that's
it.
Clipper. Yeah, that's Clipper on
from
Clipper crime
Ibaka,
right there. Yeah, that was Ibaka.
Oh my goodness! So Leonard caught that from Ibaka, and Kawhi Leonard is down. We'll step aside a moment while they work on Kawhi Leonard. The Clippers locker room after taking a shot to the face from his teammate Serge Ibaka. You see Ibaka come in and catch him with an elbow right in the jaw area. And Kawhi went down in a heap.
And you see a momentum. Look, both of their one momentum is going one direction. Kawhi's going back. Serge is going forward. That was just a Look, as players, you felt that, and any player feels that pain because we've all been there.
You just hope Kawhi Leonard is okay. He was just talking about how important it was for he and Paul George to be healthy during all of training camp and the preseason, unlike last year, and how it's helped them to build camaraderie and chemistry. And Leonard here in game 2 takes that shot, goes back to the locker room. Meanwhile, they were reviewing for a clear path foul. It was ruled a common foul on Nicholas Ibaka, 4 on Beverly. The Nuggets trying to come back in this game, down 11 with still 6 minutes to go, and now the Clippers without the services of Leonard. Murray on the attack, and that is going to be an offensive foul against Jamal Murray.
And that's tough. You see that whole play was set up to try and get Jamal Murray either a jump shot or going downhill. You see this. Serge Ibaka runs him off the line. And Nicholas Batum with a great step in and charge. Key play for the Los Angeles Clippers.
So now 2 turnovers from Denver after having the ball down just 11. George throws it away. Beverly gets it back. A chance for Ibaka. Can't hit the jumper. Rebound Barton. Denver down 11. They trailed by 24 late in the 3rd. And a foul here against the Clippers. That will be their 3rd team foul.
And look, I really think when the Denver Nuggets get a stop, they need to slow down just a pinch. This game is within reach. If you're just trying to keep this frantic pace, you're going to keep turning the ball over. You're not going to get good quality shots. Get a good quality shot every single time down the floor, especially after a turnover and missed shot.
That's going to be the 5th foul on Batum. 4th team foul on the Clippers. So the next one will put Denver at the line. Denver has shot 31 free throws in this game. Murray a 3. That one rims out. Murray had made 7 of his last 8 field goal attempts after starting 1 of 7. George behind the back to Ibaka on a three and a big bucket for Los Angeles. Jokic, Crab dribbling down. Squeezes it out to Barton. Step back three is good. Big bucket for Will Barton. $15 points now for Barton. George has 21. Ibaka on the attack, finds Williams in the corner on a three. Big three from Lou. Took a shot to the face moments ago from Serge Ibaka. His teammate was bleeding profusely from the face and went back to the Clippers locker room being attended to by their medical staff. 14-point game. Here's Murray. Nice breakdown, finds Dozier. 7 to shoot. And it's going to stay right here. Good D from Lou Williams, standing up Will Barton. Six on the shot clock. 4:09 left in the fourth. Murray, 3 seconds to shoot. Murray creates space, can't hit. Rebound Beverly, and now the Clippers will let some clock wind. George jumper is good. 23 points, 8 assists for Paul George on 8 of 14 shooting. Jokic lays it in. 24 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds for Jokic. 1 rebound away from his second straight triple-double. He would become the first player to open the season with back-to-back triple-doubles since Magic Johnson in 82-83, and a turnover there from the Clippers. Still some life for Denver. Let's get an update on Kawhi from Malika Andrews, who is in Denver.
Well, unfortunately for the Clippers, I have just been told by their PR staff that he will be out for the rest of the game after taking that shot to the face. I'm awaiting more information as to what treatment he is seeking and what precisely the injury he has is, but he is out for the rest of the game. They are still evaluating him as of now, Ryan.
All right, thanks a lot, Malika. Certainly hope nothing serious for Kawhi Leonard, who was his usual brilliant self tonight. 21 points, 7 assists, 4 steals, 5 rebounds. Ibaka on the attack, couldn't reverse it in. Still a little life for Denver. Morris finds Murray, corner three is good. 2:43 to go in this fourth quarter. Clippers led by as many as 24 towards the end of the third. Denver cut it to 11. They've had a couple chances to scrape closer, haven't been able to. Kawhi Leonard has left this game, won't return after a collision with Serge Ibaka. Here is Beverly. His three is good. Big three from Patrick Beverly, and the 19th triple of the evening for Los Angeles. Murray in the corner, didn't get that one. Offensive board, Barton keeping it alive. A chance in the corner for Dozier. He hits from downtown.
Well, this is it right here. You know, the Denver Nuggets going to have any chance of winning this game. They're just going to have to get stop after stop.
Nearly came up with a steal there. 7 to shoot. Williams in the corner, 3 to shoot. Williams hoists, can't hit. An opportunity for Denver, they have to move swiftly. Murray thought about it, taking a lot of time here. Denver taking a lot of time on this possession. Barton a three, won't go.
Where else can a city this loud be this slept on?
And 30 feet is still in range.
Where else is history still in the making?
Basketball brilliance on display.
Another chance there for Denver to try and cut it to single digits. Just could not quite make it happen.
Let's just address this Santa Perk. Wow. Let's just you're in for a treat on that one.
Santa. Yeah.
Okay.
119-108. Clippers in front of Denver. 102 remaining in this fourth. Denver has had some shots to cut it to single digits throughout this fourth quarter, not just in the last couple minutes, but turnovers and missed shots. They haven't been able to take advantage, and the Clippers trying to lock down this victory against the team that eliminated them in historic fashion in the conference semifinals a season ago. Ibaka gets it off, puts it in, a little exclamation point for Serge Ibaka, 15 points now.
Yeah, that should do it, ladies and gentlemen.
That three won't go. It's all cosmetic at this point as Dozier blows the bunny. Under 30 seconds remaining. Foul given by Barton. No need for that at this point. First foul in the last 2 minutes against Denver. And the Clippers will empty the bench. We will all anxiously await word on any update on Kawhi Leonard's condition. You know, Malika Andrews will have updates on her Twitter handle, so make sure you're following her there. And any information that comes down, of course, will be on SportsCenter as well after Leonard took that shot to the face from his teammate Serge Ibaka and was bleeding profusely on the floor before having to leave this game in the fourth quarter. A job well done from Paul George, 23 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds. Nicholas Batum, 13 and 10. Serge Ibaka with 15, and before Leonard departed, 21 points, 7 assists, 4 steals, and 5 boards. As the Clippers are going to get a victory that probably feels a little better than some others. Batum will take the violation. 2.1 left on the clock. And that will do it. In performance from the Los Angeles Clippers.